Imagine your manager calls you into the office tomorrow morning and tells you that your salary is increasing by $30,000. For a moment, every financial problem you've been carrying feels like it's about to disappear. You picture a nicer apartment, a newer car, better vacations, and the comforting belief that you've finally made it. Yet, something strange happens to millions of people after they cross the six-figure mark. Instead of becoming wealthier, they become more financially fragile. They earn more than they ever imagined possible, but somehow they feel just as trapped as they did before. If that sounds impossible, it's because almost nobody talks about what really changes after $100,000. The income isn't what transforms your financial life. It's the invisible psychological shift that follows it, and the mathematics quietly compounding every decision you make afterward. By the end of this video, you'll understand why two people earning exactly the same salary can end up living completely different financial lives, and why the first few years after reaching six figures often determine whether you build lasting wealth or simply become an expensive version of your former self. Meet Daniel and Sarah. They both received the same promotion on the same day. Their salaries jump to $100,000 a year, and both celebrate because they believe they've crossed the line into financial comfort. Looking at their bank accounts, you wouldn't find much difference between them. Looking at their futures, however, would reveal two completely different stories. The surprising part is that their futures don't separate because one is smarter, luckier, or better at investing. They separate because their brains begin interpreting the new income in completely different ways. This is the first hidden truth about earning more money. Your salary changes overnight, but your identity changes with it. That sounds abstract until you notice it happening in everyday life. Before the raise, spending $300 on a dinner feels extravagant. After the raise, it begins to feel reasonable because you've started seeing yourself as someone who belongs in more expensive places. Your financial decisions no longer reflect your income alone. They begin reflecting the identity attached to that income. Behavioral psychologists have long observed that people naturally adjust their behavior to match the story they believe about themselves. If you see yourself as successful, your brain quietly looks for evidence that successful people live a certain way. Suddenly, your reliable car feels outdated, your apartment feels smaller than it used to, and your wardrobe somehow no longer represents the person you've become. None of these feelings arrive with a warning. They simply appear, disguised as common sense. Daniel experiences this almost immediately. Within months, he upgrades his apartment because it feels like the logical reward for years of hard work. His reliable sedan becomes a luxury SUV with monthly payments that seem affordable relative to his larger paycheck. His weekend dinners become reservations instead of home-cooked meals, and his vacations become experiences worthy of someone earning six figures. Every decision feels reasonable in isolation. None of them feels irresponsible. Yet something invisible has already begun happening beneath the surface. Sarah notices the same temptations, but she asks herself a different question. Instead of asking, "What can I afford now?" she asks, "What kind of future does this raise allow me to build?" That single question changes everything because it shifts her attention away from today's lifestyle and toward tomorrow's possibilities. She still enjoys her higher income, but she refuses to let every additional dollar immediately become another permanent expense. This brings us to the second hidden truth, and it catches almost everyone by surprise. Crossing $100,000 doesn't simply increase your income. It changes who you compare yourself with. Before your promotion, your reference point may have been friends driving practical cars and living comfortably within their means. After your promotion, your environment quietly changes. Your coworkers wear more expensive watches. They renovate kitchens, join exclusive gyms, book international holidays, and discuss investment properties over lunch. Nobody tells you to copy them, yet your brain starts redefining what normal looks like. Psychologists call this social comparison, and it operates automatically. Your brain measures progress relative to the people around you, not relative to your past self. Ironically, earning more money often makes people feel less successful because they begin comparing themselves with wealthier groups. The finish line keeps moving further away, even as they run faster. Daniel doesn't realize this is happening. He simply notices that everyone around him seems to have something slightly better. Better neighborhoods, better schools, better cars, better holidays. Every upgrade appears justified because it helps him feel like he belongs. The problem is that belonging has no finish line. Every improvement simply introduces a new group whose lifestyle costs even more. Sarah notices the same pressure, but she recognizes it for what it is, a psychological illusion. She understands that someone else's spending tells her almost nothing about their financial health. The colleague driving a luxury vehicle may have enormous debt. The family living in a beautiful home may be one missed paycheck away from serious financial stress. Visible wealth and actual wealth are rarely the same thing, yet our brains instinctively confuse them. That confusion becomes incredibly expensive. Most people think the financial cost of a bigger lifestyle is measured by the monthly payment. The real cost is measured by everything that payment prevents your money from becoming. That difference is called opportunity cost, but the phrase sounds far less dramatic than the reality. Imagine Daniel's promotion leads him to buy a luxury SUV with a payment of $900 every month. Friends congratulate him. Strangers admire the vehicle, and every morning the leather seats remind him that his hard work has paid off. From his perspective, the decision costs $900 a month. If that same $900 were invested every month for 30 years and earned an average annual return of 8%, it could grow to well over $1.3 million. Suddenly, the SUV isn't competing with another car. It's competing with financial independence, decades of investment growth, and thousands of future choices. The painful part is that Daniel never receives a bill saying, "This purchase also cost you $1.3 million. Opportunity cost is invisible, which is exactly why our brains underestimate it. Sarah faces the same temptation after her promotion. She could comfortably afford the nicer car, but she sees something Daniel doesn't. Every dollar has two jobs. It can improve your lifestyle today, or it can improve your freedom tomorrow. Once it's spent, it can no longer do both. This is why the wealth gap often begins widening after $100,000. It isn't because one person suddenly becomes a brilliant investor. It's because one person consistently gives their dollars time to multiply, while the other consistently asks those same dollars to fund a more expensive present. Notice something surprising here. Daniel isn't making obviously bad decisions. In fact, each decision makes perfect sense on its own. A slightly nicer apartment after a promotion seems reasonable. A better car after years of hard work feels deserved. More dinners out because life is busy appears harmless. The problem is that wealth is rarely destroyed by one catastrophic decision. It's quietly diluted by hundreds of reasonable ones. This reveals the third hidden truth. Lifestyle inflation compounds just like investments do, but in the opposite direction. Most people understand compound interest because they've seen charts showing investments growing over decades. Far fewer people realize that recurring expenses also compound. Every subscription renews next month. Every higher mortgage payment repeats for years. Every car payment reduces future investing capacity. Every lifestyle upgrade becomes another permanent claim on tomorrow's income. Think of it like planting two different kinds of seeds. Investments grow into assets that eventually produce more money than you contributed. Lifestyle inflation grows into obligations that eventually consume more money than you expected. Both compound over time. The question is simply which one you're feeding. Now let's jump ahead 10 years. Daniel has continued receiving raises throughout his career. On paper, he's doing exceptionally well. His salary has increased, his home is larger, his car is newer, and his vacations are more luxurious. Yet something unexpected has happened. Every raise has already been spoken for before it arrives. His larger mortgage, higher insurance costs, premium subscriptions, dining habits, and lifestyle commitments expand alongside every increase in income. If he lost his job tomorrow, his expensive lifestyle would immediately become a financial emergency. Sarah also received those same raises. From the outside, her life looks less impressive. She still drives a dependable car. Her home is comfortable rather than extravagant. She enjoys vacations, but she rarely upgrades simply because her salary increased. Instead, she quietly directs a significant portion of every raise into investments before her lifestyle has a chance to absorb it. Here's the remarkable part. Daniel earns freedom through income, but loses it through obligations. Sarah earns freedom through ownership. That distinction leads us to one of the most overlooked systems in personal finance, the status economy. We often believe we're buying products because they improve our lives. In reality, many purchases are designed to communicate something to other people. A watch tells a story. A neighborhood tells a story. A car tells a story. Even certain restaurants quietly communicate status. There is nothing inherently wrong with enjoying nice things. The hidden danger appears when your purchases become tools for proving success instead of serving your actual needs. At that point, your spending is no longer solving practical problems. It's solving psychological ones. The status economy profits from one simple fact: satisfaction has an expiration date. The excitement of a new purchase fades remarkably quickly because your brain adapts. What once felt extraordinary soon becomes ordinary, and before long, something even better catches your attention. The cycle repeats, not because you're irresponsible, but because your brain evolved to normalize improvements. This is why so many high-income earners feel financially stuck despite earning more than they ever imagined. Their income keeps rising, but so does the cost of maintaining the identity attached to that income. Now we arrive at the hidden system almost nobody notices because it never appears on a bank statement. I call it the freedom conversion system. Every extra dollar you earn is automatically competing to become one of two things. It can become a permanent expense, or it can become a permanent asset. The competition begins the moment your paycheck arrives, long before you consciously decide where the money will go. Think about what happens on payday. Before you've had time to think about your future, your mortgage payment is scheduled, your subscriptions renew, your credit card balance is due, your insurance is deducted, and advertisements begin reminding you that you've earned the right to upgrade something else. It's almost as if 5 different companies are spending your raise before you ever see it. The only voice missing from that competition is your future self. This explains why raises often feel smaller than expected. The money didn't disappear. It was simply claimed by obligations before it had the opportunity to become ownership. Now let's fast forward another 10 years. Daniel is in his early 50s. His salary is higher than ever, yet he feels more dependent on it than at any point in his career. Walking away from his job isn't really an option because his lifestyle depends on the next paycheck arriving exactly on schedule. His expensive house, luxury vehicle, insurance premiums, and recurring commitments all expect to be paid every month, regardless of how he feels about his work. Sarah reaches the same age with a very different reality. Her investments have quietly spent 2 decades compounding. The dividends buy more investments. Market growth accelerates the value of assets she purchased years ago. Every year, a larger portion of her wealth is created by her money instead of her labor. This is the 4th hidden truth. Wealth eventually reaches a point where your money begins working harder than you do. That sounds like a motivational quote until you understand the mathematics behind it. Imagine your investment portfolio grows by 8% in a year. If you've accumulated $100,000, your investments may grow by about $8,000 before you contribute another dollar. Build that portfolio to $500,000, and the same percentage becomes roughly $40,000. Reach $1 million, and an average 8% year represents approximately $80,000 in growth. The percentage never changed. Only the size of the asset did. This is the wealth snowball. In the beginning, your contributions matter most because your investments are still small. Later, the investments themselves begin doing much of the heavy lifting. Eventually, your annual growth can exceed what many people save in several years. That moment doesn't arrive because someone discovered a secret investment. It arrives because they consistently gave compound growth enough time to work. Daniel never experiences this acceleration because most of his raises became larger expenses instead of larger assets. His income increased dramatically over the years, but his ownership did not keep pace. Sarah experiences the opposite. Every raise planted another seed that continued growing long after the excitement of the promotion had faded. This leads to the final hidden truth, and it completely changes the meaning of a 6-figure income. Most people believe the purpose of earning more money is to improve their lifestyle. In reality, the greatest purpose of higher income is to increase your optionality. Optionality is one of the most valuable assets you can own. Because it gives you choices. It gives you the ability to change careers without panic. It allows you to take time off when your family needs you. It gives you the confidence to negotiate because your survival doesn't depend on accepting every offer. It creates freedom that cannot be purchased at the last minute. Ironically, the more you spend to look successful, the fewer options you usually have. The more you invest to build ownership, the more options quietly appear over time. So how do you escape the trap after crossing $100,000 or any income level? Start by making every future raise partially invisible. Before increasing your lifestyle, automatically direct a meaningful percentage of every raise into investments. If you never become emotionally attached to spending that money, you won't miss it. Next, stop measuring progress by your salary alone. Ask yourself a better question. If my income stopped tomorrow, how long could my assets continue supporting my life? That single question shifts your attention from earning to owning. Then begin thinking in decades instead of monthly payments. A purchase that feels affordable over 30 days may be extraordinarily expensive over 30 years when you include the investment growth you gave up. Viewing every major purchase through the lens of opportunity cost won't stop you from enjoying life, but it will help you spend intentionally instead of automatically. Finally, remember that visible success and financial freedom are not the same achievement. One depends on other people noticing what you own. The other depends on you quietly owning enough that your future becomes increasingly independent from your next paycheck. Let's return to Daniel and Sarah one final time. They started with the same promotion, the same salary, and the same opportunity. The difference wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck. It wasn't finding the perfect stock or timing the market. Their futures separated because one used higher income to purchase a more expensive present, while the other used higher income to purchase a more flexible future. Everything really does change after $100,000. Not because six figures are magical, but because every financial decision after that point becomes larger, every habit compounds faster, and every psychological bias becomes more expensive. Income amplifies whatever financial behavior already exists. If your habits build assets, higher income accelerates wealth. If your habits build obligations, higher income accelerates dependence. The number itself was never the turning point. The turning point was the moment you decided whether each additional dollar would become another bill or another building block for your future. Remember, wealth isn't just about numbers. It's about understanding the unspoken side of money. If this video changed the way you think about high income, let me know in the comments which hidden truth surprised you the most. If you enjoy uncovering the psychology, hidden systems, and real mathematics behind everyday financial decisions, subscribe to Unspoken Finance, because the biggest financial advantages are often hidden in plain sight. You just have to know where to look.